Hello, my name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigilante. Coming to you beneath Wayne Manor, somewhere in the outskirts of Gotham City. This is the People's Channel, folks. Thank you for supporting everything I do. You can see the scroll below. There's a great way to support what we're doing at patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. We have a P.O. box. You can support us any number of ways. We have merchandise. We have that logo on mugs and stuff like that. It's the holiday season, mugs and t-shirts and other things. We have the Make Gotham Great Again shirts. You can get all of that at grahamelwood.com. And don't forget, December 7th, we have a live Anything Can Happen, the political game show that makes fun of the entire American political system with co-host Ron Placone. And we have guests, Kira Sultanovich and Robin Tran. That is December 7th in Los Angeles. Tickets are available. Be a part of the studio audience. Support what we're doing so we can talk about stuff like this. We know Joe Biden is, of all active politicians today, has received the most amount of money from any pro-Israel group. It's over $4 million. And you go to opensecrets.org, you can find this information because it's a matter of public record. And now, so we have record inflation. We have, rents and mortgages are through the roof. The national average for a home is over $400,000, which is not reasonable for most Americans. In California, it's $800,000 for a home. I'm sure there's other little pockets around America that are lower, but it's not good. And we have a for-profit healthcare system. And Americans are begging for some type of help. They don't get it from Joe Biden. They didn't get it from Trump. They didn't get it from Obama. They didn't get it from Bush. This corrupt two-party system just siphons off every American's hardworking money and gives it to Wall Street in one form or another. Or they send it overseas to all these endless wars in Ukraine and giving money to Israel. Well, now hear what Biden is doing. There's a stockpile of weapons, and he's lifting the restriction to nearly every restriction on Israel's access to U.S. weapons stockpile. By easing virtually all limits on Israel's use of the stockpile, Biden could undercut U.S. military preparedness and congressional oversight. This is on the Intercept by Ken Klippenstein. The White House has requested the removal of restrictions on all categories of weapons and ammunition Israel is allowed to access from U.S. weapons stockpiles stored in Israel itself. The move to lift restrictions was included in the White House's supplemental budget request sent to the Senate on October 20th. This request would, the proposed budget says, allow for the transfer of all categories of defense articles. Oh man, that's what we need. Israel needs to have more weapons because they were only allowed to bomb Gaza for 45 days straight or whatever. There's over 15,000 dead Palestinians. Over 6,000 of them are children or more. It's offensive, and America has co-signed this genocide by Israel, right? The request pertains to little-known weapon stockpiles in Israel that the Pentagon established for use in regional conflicts, but which Israel has been permitted to access in limited circumstances. Oh, but we lift that limit, baby. Just use all of our weapons to kill more poor people. Oh, great. The very limits President Joe Biden is seeking to remove. If enacted, the amendments would create a two-step around restrictions on U.S. weapons transfer to Israel. This is from John Ramming Chappell, a legal fellow with the Center for Civilians in Conflict. Created in the 1980s to supply the U.S. in case of a regional war, the War Reserve Stockpile allies Israel, or Warsaw I, is the largest node in a network of what are effectively foreign U.S. weapon caches. Highly regulated for security, the stockpiles are governed by a set of strict requirements. Under circumstances laid out in these requirements, Israel has been able to draw on the stockpile, purchasing the weapons at little cost of its uses, the effective subsidy of U.S. military aid. Wow. With the Warsaw I, or Warsaw I, Biden is looking to lift virtually all the meaningful restrictions on the stockpile and the transfer of arms to Israel, with plans to remove limitations to obsolete or surplus weapons, waive an annual spending cap on replenishing the stockpile. Oh, good. That's what we need. More weapons spending. Boy, we don't have enough of that. Oh, man. We don't have enough of that. We don't have enough weapons spending. I mean, we all know this. We need more weapons spending. Anytime, folks, you drive down a road that's bumpy or something isn't fixed or your park needs work or your kid's music program or sports program or computer program was cut and they said, where's the money for it? We don't have money for Medicare for all. How are we going to pay for Medicare for all? It's this endless stream of money for war, this endless war budget. You take our military budget and cut it in half, and we still outspend Russia and China by over $200 billion, roughly. What could we do with an extra $400 billion a year? We have $858 billion as our current budget. It'll go up to 880 something, close to $900 billion for 2024. Russia and China spend roughly $200 billion a year. So we could cut our budget in half to $400 and some billion a year and still outspend Russia and China by $200 billion. And gee, what could we do with $400 billion a year? Oh my God, we could have great schools. We could have, free healthcare. We could have high-speed rail coast to coast. We could put a bunch of Americans to work with all of these jobs. Oh, but that's right. The military gets whatever it wants, whenever it wants, and the American citizens get nothing. All of the changes in the Biden budget plan would be permanent, except for lifting the spending cap, which is limited to the 2024 fiscal year. The changes would come in an arms trade relationship that is already shrouded in secrecy, as The Intercept recently reported, whereas the administration has provided pages of detailed lists of weapons provided to Ukraine, for instance. Its disclosure about arms provided to Israel could fit in a single short sentence. Last week, Bloomberg obtained a leaked list of weapons provided to Israel, revealing that they include thousands of Hellfire missiles, the same thing being used extensively by Israel in Gaza. Undermine oversight and accountability. There is no oversight. There is no accountability. This is the just lawless, out of control spending our military gets to do. And talking about, we got to cut this and cut that. And we don't have money. We don't have money. We don't have money. But hey, Israel, you just take whatever you want and blow the crap out of Palestinians that are, especially those living in an open air prison in Gaza. Just do whatever you want. This is why I don't vote for Joe Biden and the Democrats. They are no better. They are no better than the Republicans. And the Republicans are vile. They're horrible people. I will not vote for either one of these parties. And the more liberals yell at me, Jill Stein cost us the election, the more they refuse to acknowledge how the Democrats allowed Trump to get elected in 2016. And they don't take responsibility for how awful Biden is as a president. He has one of the lowest approval ratings ever. And they're still mad at whomever, Cornel West or whatever. When I hear those liberals cry like that, it's actually, in the last 7 years since the 2016, it has pushed me further away from the Democratic Party. Every time they scream at me and get mad about, Graham, you're helping Trump. Thank you for saying that. And since you don't take responsibility for these politicians that you seem to love so much, who don't care about you, then you're pushing me further away from the Democratic Party. I hate the Democratic Party. I don't like the Republicans. They're all scumbags. Trump's a scumbag. Biden's a scumbag. They're all maggots. I don't like any of these people. I have no respect for them. I hate the ruling elites because they allow this to happen. They allow this to happen. So we're just opening a warehouse full of bombs for Israel to complete a genocide against the Palestinian people. And I, as an American, am offended that my tax dollars are going for that. And so should you. But Israel has spent a lot of money on Joe Biden and Trump and Republicans, mainly Democrats, but there's plenty of Republicans that are okay with it. They get AIPAC money. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth. That's how we make Gotham great again. And shave your knuckles for justice. Boom.